Friday. Thank God it's Friday, because tomorrow's Saturday. 4/8/2016. Panama Papers, you know, I'm going to be talking about that. I think it's very interesting and telling that there's a Fed emergency meeting that's happening on Monday. And you know as well as I do, it has everything to do with the Panama Papers, and that's what they're going to be talking about. Not necessarily the papers, but what papers are going to follow. Panama Papers Part 2, Panama Papers Part 3, Panama Papers Part 4. Now, that's what they're talking about. I think it's also very interesting that the Panama Papers would be released right after there was just a huge alignment in Pisces. There was, like 7 or 8 planets in Pisces that just happened. That's one of the reasons why I started doing videos again, because with that type of an alignment, and Pisces being the last sign of the zodiac, it's not Sagittarius, it's Pisces, it indicates end. It indicates ending. And when you got 8 planets in Pisces, it means end. And I think it's very telling, I think it's very non-ambiguous that Putin and the Alliance would release these Panama Papers right after this alignment. I think it's absolutely non-coincidentally, and again, it's one of the reasons why I started doing videos again, because I looked at the astrology and I said, oh, okay, now time to get back in. Okay, let me talk about Wilcock a little bit. I want to finish up Wilcock because I'm getting tired of talking about him, but I want you guys to understand where I'm going with him. First of all, Wilcock is a researcher. Wilcock has done a lot of work. Wilcock has done a lot of valid work from a professional academic standpoint, okay? You can't take that away from him. What I don't like about Wilcock, what bugs the heck out of me about Wilcock is his personality. His personality has huge pitfalls and huge deficiencies, my opinion. For example, he goes on talk radio and he talks about how there needs to be more congruence, more people getting along within conspiracy theory media, and then he turns right around and talks trash about me on Fulford's blog. So he's talking out of both sides of his mouth. I don't like that. That shows personality defects. Another thing that he does, he's always saying the stupidest things. He goes on stage and he talks about how he could get with any girl that he wants to, and there's a lot of temptation on the road, and he has to fend that off because he has a girlfriend, and that's always a temptation. And I'm going, look, why are you even bringing this up? Why are you even bringing this up? It has nothing to do with anything except feeding your own ego. Also, if you're a spiritual advisor, if you're in this type of metaphysical world, those things don't mix. You can't bring this seedy morality into something that's pure and spiritual and mystery school inspired. They don't mix. He goes on his radio shows and brags about how he's got a doctorate degree, honorary doctorate degree. He talks about how he got a 1250 SAT score. He brags about how he's such a proficient writer and how his SAT scores make him, you know, quote unquote, very adept and astute. Okay, great. For example, he talks about the Panama Papers, okay? Second line of the post that he makes, he's already saying, oh, and my new book is #1 bestseller at Amazon.com. You know, he can't wait 2 seconds to start talking about himself, which, you know, granted, everybody talks about themselves to a certain degree. I just don't like the levels to where he takes it. It's the way he says things. It's the degree to which he explains himself. I mean, I explain myself, but it's not bragging. I don't wear it out. I mean, he just beats the horse to death. And he brings in these topics that are immoral from a spiritual standpoint. I mean, what's the next step with you, Wilcock? Are you going to hand out Hustler magazines at your discussions? Are you going to have Larry Flint sit there and sign your books at your book signing? Is that the next step? I mean, he went as far one time. There was there was a guest appearance speaking engagement that he did on April 28th of 2015. Okay, and he literally on stage was talking about quote unquote whipping it out. That's what he said, whipping it out. And I went, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's disgusting because spirituality does not mix with that stuff. There's a certain place and time for that stuff, and it's not with spiritual matters. So that's my dig with him, and now I can stop talking about him because I don't want to talk about him anymore. Okay, let's get back to the Panama Papers, and I want to point something out very clearly. This is a little educational thinkers post, thinkers corner, just something to think about. It's an exercise. Panama Papers were released on April 3rd. About a month and a half before that, I had a couple of posts, recurring posts with very deliberate and specific themes. I had one on January 16th, I had one on February 12th, and I had one on February 14th. The tone of those was, and I'll put the links below, the ghosts are coming for you, Illuminati, better look out. Osiris and his cowboys from hell are coming for you. And Philosopher's Corner, which was, the first few lines was, a raging funeral. Call the girls and get the kegs ready. Now, I think that's, wow. I think that's, I don't know what it is. I'm proposing it to you guys. Is it coincidental that I said that? Did I know about the Panama Papers and just couldn't say anything? So I had to hint. I don't know. I'm just proposing it to you guys, and I'm saying this is an exercise. Thinkers post, thinkers corner. Time to think. What did my elementary school instructor used to say? Put your thinking cap on. Right. Okay. The reason why I'm doing that is A, because at the primary meeting, I want you guys to think about it, and it's a little exercise. Second, I want you to have an example to compare how I'm handling something, and then how Wilcock, the examples that I just gave about Wilcock doing things. Okay? So you can balance it. Okay? Libra, scales. So you can balance it. Look at it. Look at the nature of both of them. Come to your own decisions. I'm only presenting you guys with the material. And I think it's important because as this system falls apart, as we transition into the newer system, the requirement of living is you're going to have to think more about things on your own. You're going to have to come up with your own decisions. You're going to have to come up with your own analysis, because that is the responsibility of true freedom. True freedom does not exist without taking responsibility and having to have cognition, effort, and intelligence in your own endeavors and making your own decisions. See, now we live in a world, we live in this fishbowl, okay, where the Illuminati come by and feed us, the Illuminati come by and clean our bowl, the Illuminati come out and put bridges and gravel and little plants and stuff in there, and we have no say-so, okay? Well, it's time for the fish to jump out of the bowl, okay? So, and that requires responsibility, that requires cognition, that requires effort. And that's what we're getting ready for. So, more of that is going to happen on this planet. And it feeds into my little exercise. Okay? So, what else? Let me think here. Oh, Putin. Putin Panama Papers. I'm in awe of this guy. This guy and the alliance. This is the greatest political feat I've ever seen in my life. Did you see him have a national press conference, and he's talking about how he can't believe that Soros is trying to desecrate his internal circle. And he's the one with the alliance that released all the intel to get rid of his inner circle, to get rid of all the bad guys within his inner circle. And then he blames Soros. Because it looks like if you read the surface reports, it looks like, Soros did it. But if you really dig into it, which you guys know about on the stuff that I posted, it's not Soros. It's not Soros at all. It's genius. It's so genius. It's so brilliant. It has truly inspired me to continue with this Pisces alignment, get more back into disinfo, get more back into doing videos. And hey, that's why I'm taking the time. One of the reasons why I'm taking the time this morning. It's just genius. It is an absolute Picasso in the modern world, filled with garbage, filled with neglect, and filled with egotistical idiots like Wilcock. So, hey, I'm happy. This is going to be a great weekend for me. Hopefully you guys have the same. Post comment. I'll put the links in it. Peace, guys. Thanks.